Hello there, YouTubes, and welcome to the 2,000 subscriber Q&A Hangout Extravaganza Palooza of utter mediocrity. What else would you expect? You subscribe to this shit, this is what you fucking get. Only joking. Thank you enormously to all of the people who got me to this stage. And it's 2,000 on the other channel, by the way. Here, we're at nearly 300. So again, thank you for that. Thank you to everyone who subscribed, obviously. Thank you to everyone who gave me a shout out. And believe it or not, guess who was my subscribers, all kinds of interesting you know, what are you doing what I've been doing, but there are some plans afoot for different things, and hopefully that'll be cool as well. As you can see, hopefully, unless you've got eye issues, in which case you can go to your opticians or optometrist. Is that a thing? I don't know. Anyway, the camera. I managed to set up my to work, look, because I had like half an hour or so to prepare for this shit, which I usually don't allow myself for my other little hangout video things I do. But now, because I've taken the time to work it out, I'm now hooked up my proper camera to the laptop and got it to work in the hangout bit. So now you can see my pathetically, hideously ugly mug in 1080 HP fucking autofocus Spunkapalooza cam, or whatever the fuck this is, rather than the shitty webcam that I was using before. So hopefully now all of my videos, for those who are complaining, look, as if anyone wants to look at this fucking mess, you know, in anything other than the lowest grainy quality shit you can imagine. Yeah, for those who are complaining, I've now hooked up the proper one, so now I can do. There will be no more. Well, not no more, because sometimes I'll just be a lazy prick. But mostly there won't be any more shit. There won't be any more nonsense in terms of the quality of the actual video. The content will still be as appalling as it ever was, but you'll be able to see me better for those who seemingly gave a shit about that. But anyway, yes. I'm going to begin to some questions that people left under the video in which I announced this later, and I'll be chatting back and forth with the people in the room. And there were some people in the room like way early, like fucking 25 minutes early and stuff, which was awesome. But anyway, but I'm going to do something slightly different and slightly cheeky, if you don't mind. Well, actually, you have no say in it. This is not a democracy, people. I am, if nothing, a dictator of my channel. I'm going to be doing a little snippet at the start, which was always going to be the little snippet at the start anyway, because someone pointed this out to me yesterday and linked me to this thing, which was so funny, so brilliant, and so telling of the person for which this is an issue. And I'll get onto the exact person in a moment. I thought I had to do this as like my opening gambit for this hangout, right? To hopefully to let the room fill up a little bit and to get a conversation going and all of that. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to cut this bit from this hangout and have it as like an actual video on my channel. So essentially, I'm going to film a video within this hangout, if that makes sense. It's not going to be like, it's not going to be one of those edited bits where you're going to see me like fuck it up or whatever. I'm just going to ramble through it and then cut this bit as a thing there, and it'll also act as a promo because I'll put a link to this hangout underneath that, so it'll hopefully drive some more traffic to the actual hangout and stuff, because this will be on my channel. And I'm fucked if I'm cutting this thing into 15-minute fucking pieces, because for those that don't know, the strike on my channel, which means I'm having to do the hangout on this channel, means I've only got a 15-minute fucking upload limit on my original channel. So I'm fucked if I'm cutting this cunt into a million pieces for that channel anyway. So I'm gonna like I say, I'm gonna sort of do a kind of a filming bit, but you'll be able to see it here. But you can still go and watch like the final bit if you want. I don't know. Anyway, oh my god, there are 16 people, and that's amazing because this is a tiny little channel now. So I don't know. Anyway, so anyway, what's going to be the focus of this video is what's going to be the focus of this video is something that somebody sent me on Facebook yesterday. as I'm filming this, and it's from one of my erstwhile lol cows, one of my favourite monkeys to slap, so to speak, in the world, a guy called Stefan Molyneux. Now, for those who don't know Stefan Molyneux, allow me to poison the well. He is a guy who is a 3-time immigrant who is against immigration, obviously. He is a really nasty individual in so many ways. But the thing is, I can poison the well because I'm not actually trying to make an argument against him today. I'm just trying to embarrass him because he's embarrassed himself in the most delightful way possible. So what I'll do is I'll do the screen sharey thing if I can find out how to do that. Where are we? Screen share, you motherfucker. There we go. Right. This is the screenshot, right? This is from underneath a video of his called The Truth About Frozen, which, for those who don't know, is a series he does called The Truth About, and then whatever the topic is, which, if you ever want to both simultaneously laugh really loudly at a man being a prick and scream in frustration and punch the wall because you just don't see the point of humanity anymore, go and check out a video of his called The Truth About Nelson Mandela, which was an incredible piece of clickbait trash he did just after Mandela had died, in which he basically said that Mandela was an awful human being. Amazing. Anyway, as you can see, the screenshot, right? It's from underneath a video of his, right? And it's I'll read you out verbatim, right? I love this. You totally kind of ruined Frozen for me, but I really enjoyed this a lot more than the actual movie. And you really got me thinking about a lot. Being an attractive young woman, just go with it, people. Go with it. This is amazing. I understand what is like to be seen as nothing more than a sex doll. I should point out at this point that Stefan Molyneux is a bald, middle-aged man. I'll explain all in a mo. I also know what it is to fuck's sake. I also know what it is like to use that to my advantage to get over the system. Hell, I even know what it is to suffer mental illness, only to be told, boo my parents, I think that's supposed to be by my parents, to ignore it. However, despite all of this, I feel like I have learned more lessons from everything that has happened in my life. Thank you so much for posting this. Honestly, I want to make a difference in the world, and I look to people like you to sort of guide me in the right direction. Thanks so much. Now that's amazing, isn't it? That's Stefan Molyneux pretending to be an attractive young woman. Now, what he's done there, Stefan Molyneux, is so needlessly pathetic. Even though he has a fucking huge army of followers, right? He has pretended to be a young woman, but has forgotten to change to what presumably at least one sock account he has. Although I would imagine there's probably many, many more. And what he does is he goes onto that sock channel, pretends to be a woman, says stuff like, I look to people like you to sort of guide me. And I love this, whilst he's pretending to be this attractive young woman. That's how pathetic Stefan Molyneux is. He posts praise of himself as somebody else under a sock account, but he's so pathetic that he forgets to change to the sock account, and so Stefan Molyneux is clearly there pretending to be a young girl. It's amazing, and yet this guy will attack others for journalistic integrity and so on and so on. It's fucking brilliant, and it's summed up by this guy at the bottom here who responds. He's got 67 likes. Good lord. But Jonathan Latkauka, almost certainly not how it's pronounced. Apologies to, I presume, Polish name there. I don't know. Anyway, to the Polish people, right? Oh my God! Did you actually try to post a fake comment pretending to be a woman who likes your work? You're beyond pathetic, Molyneux. He is. He truly is beyond pathetic. Anyway, let's. If we can we come out of the screen share now? The screen's gone mental. Oh, look at that. Anyway. There we go. Right, I'm back. Yes, Stefan Molyneux is that fucking pathetic. He pretended to be a girl, an attractive young girl, and the way he talks as well. Like, I'm an attractive young woman. Who describes themselves? Like, I've never met a young woman, even the most conceited young woman ever, never describes herself quite like that. They'll say like, "Oh, I'm hot" or whatever. Who describes themselves as an attractive young woman? And like, I look to you to for someone to lead us, like, or guide us. He's so pathetic, Stefan Molyneux. But that's the level of the man. That's the level of these fucking anti-feminist dickwads. Will you hear anything about that from any of them, though? Really, probably not. Will there be a ethics in fucking comment section movement where they harass the fuck out of Stefan Molyneux? No, there won't be that. Of course there won't. Anyway, I thought I'd bring that to you. Pip pip. So there you go. Right, that's the. That will be like a video up on my main channel now, for what it's worth. Let's check if I can for a moment. I say let's check. It's only me checking on the chat bit. How are we getting on in the chat, people? Perhaps Molyneux wants to be an attractive young woman. Perhaps he does, SJW 101. I wouldn't be surprised. It's often these kind of incredibly homophobic people who end up having these, what they would have previously described as like unnatural or whatever things, you know. Like, how many times has like an anti-gay pastor been caught fucking a rent boy whilst doing tons of fucking PCP or whatever, you know. Anyway, he's, to steal a phrase from Red Pill, worshipping the badge. Okay. I don't really know what to do with that. Mind forged manacles. Oh, I know mind forged manacles. A really hard name to say, but one you don't forget. But anyway, yeah. So I thought I'd bring that Stefan Molyneux shite here, and yeah, all of that. Right, now I did say I would be doing some cues from the Q&A. Now, as I would have expected from my subscribers, a truly and thankfully pitiful number of questions, because quite frankly, I can't be asked with answering too many of them. But I did want to bring attention first and foremost to one that wasn't a question, but was my favourite piece of, I hope, satirical trollery. And it's this. I will just read it out verbatim. It's from a guy called Eric Cartman. I doubt it's the Eric Cartman, because he doesn't really fucking exist. Anyway, it says, ha ha ha, suck my balls, you British cunt. Why not suck the Queen's saggy tits? Why not? Exactly. I mean, I can't answer him there because he didn't actually put a question mark. He put 3 exclamation marks. So there you go. He says, America is best. Why? And then there's a bullet point list, which might be my favourite collection of hideous words ever. We invented freedom. Family Guy South Park. We elected a nigger as president, and we could possibly elect a bitch or a dirty garden gnome. Amazing. Just, anyway. We allowed all black people to have secure jobs until Abraham Lincoln made racist laws against them. We let faggots and trannies to have marriage, unlike Britain, which is brilliant because we allowed it first. So show. We defeated the commies from taking over the world. We show how cool Jeebus and God is and prove how evil Islam is. So it's the fact that he spelt it Jeebus that makes me think this is trollery, isn't it? This isn't real. We gave Iraq, Guatemala, Iran, Paraguay, and so many countries freedom. This is. We're so awesome that there's another American country called Canada. And the final bullet point is, fuck yeah. And then he replies, the only reply to the thing is from himself with, fuck you, Britannia, with 5 exclamation marks and the fuck spell F-U-K. Genius. Absolute fucking genius. Did Richard Dawkins write this? No, because he'd have immediately wrote a thing saying, no, I didn't mean he was a nigger. I was making a point about race relations, or some hideous piece of utterly disingenuous shite. I'm quite sure. Ellie L says, I'm thinking about starting a feminist atheist channel myself. Any advice? Firstly, do it, because that would be fucking awesome. Like, I started my channel because I wanted more of this sort of content to be done. In essence, as with any piece of advice to anyone about starting videos, just do them. Just literally just turn your camera on and talk. That was what my first few were. And it's literally just, if you've got something on your mind, put it out there. But the advice that I have to give everyone, and I genuinely don't wish to scare off any person from doing content on YouTube, especially about feminism, but know that you will get, unfortunately, a lot of backfire, whatever it's called, blowback. I don't know. Anyway, basically, a lot of shit will come your way because you dared to say feminism was anything other than evil, because that's seemingly the only thing allowed in the free speech zone of YouTube atheism. But yeah, my main advice would be just start. Basically, just turn on a camera and do it. Would be my main advice. What else? I'll tell you what I'll do. Jacket potato ingredients. What the fuck? How has this become a thing? Anyway, right. Yeah, one of the questions from the people. This was brilliant. A guy, right, who goes by, and it's a guy in the picture. So I don't know if it's a lady, a gentleman, a non-binary person, whatever. But it's a man in the fucking picture. So I'm going with he. Right, he left 2 comments, but I'm going to read them as one because I think they're sort of meant to be one. Right, it says, do you think religion in general prevents mankind's progress? And then, and also, do you eat ass? Well, I'll take the first one first. Do you think religion in general prevents mankind's progress? No, is the answer, basically. It's a roadblock in the sense that it's standing in the way of progress. But this is the point I make with conservatives as well, and sort of extreme rightists or whatever. All they can do is slow down progress. They can never stop it. Humanity is sort of built, or not built, because that would suggest to go. But you know what I mean? It's the makeup of human societies are to try and progress. And in essence, the ultimate example of it not preventing mankind's progress is mankind's progress, because religion has basically always been around in some form. Hang on, some shite on the camera. Yeah, but mankind has progressed nonetheless, and so I really don't think that it prevents, if that's the wording you're going with, humanity's progress. It just slows it down, and ultimately means it will be on the wrong side of history. But I think it will still exist for a hell of a long time to come. I can't see it changing enormously in any 22 viewers. Amazing. Thank you all for coming. Not literally, that would be disgusting. Anyway, and to the second part of his question, do I eat ass? It depends. How much are you offering? You know what I mean? I'm flexible. Not literally. I'm a bit chunky. I'm not literally flexible, but I am in terms of selling my butt. There's a cat. I didn't realise he was behind me. Oh yeah, I did. Did I? I don't know. I'd forgotten. Anyway, but yeah, the cat's there. I'm sure he'll probably be making an appearance. Well, he's asleep now, which means he could be asleep for a long time. Right, kids. No, he's gone. Not literally gone. He's just very asleep. Anyway, how are we going in the chat? Does anyone have any questions from the chat? Or any general... Bewildered Apes in. Hello, Bewildered Apes. I spoke briefly with BA last night. Very charming and loquacious man from the incorrect hemisphere. What can you do? Cheese goes on too, surely. Are we still? Why is there a thing? Why is there a thing about fucking jacket potatoes in the chat? Why is that happening? What did you study as a history student? That's from Mindforged Manacles. In the chat rather than under the video. He Mindforged. Yeah, I did 21st. 21st, you come. 20th century European history and politics. So it was a lot of war. It was a lot of war and genocide and death and destruction was basically it. But I focused on the Holocaust, which again is is in the same vein as what I just described. But yeah, so yeah, it was fucking grim, but enormously enormously I don't even know how to describe it. It was just sort of hideous, but life changing in a way, I suppose, because um, you get you get to see the darkest thing that humanity's ever done, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'd do that anyway. Who's your favourite member of Girls Aloud? Push on, you bastard. Who's my favourite? I don't know any of them. Dave. Kevin is a witch. He studied 21st century history. No, you could do 21st century history. There's been a full 15 years of it now, so you could do that. And I presume they probably are in the kind of modern history settings. I presume they probably are studying the very early part of the 21st century now, albeit not in enormous detail, because a lot of the is it 30 or 40 year rule where you get the documents coming in. How would you describe your leftiness, if that question makes sense? Apologies, it's Friday night. Thank you, Specs Bean Farmer. Cool name. How would I describe my leftiness? Fucking awesome is how I would describe it. No, I'm a socialist, basically. Socialist slash social democrat. Yeah, I'm a bit fence city there, I suppose. But there you go. What about Atomic Kitten? Kerry Katona. Definitely Kerry Katona is my favourite member of Atomic Kitten. If that is Atomic Kitten even a thing anymore, I don't know, but I know she was in that when I was a child. God. There you go. Anyway, what else was I going to talk about? I had some other topics, but I left my notebook downstairs because I'm a fucking idiot. I could go and get it, but I ain't fucking gonna. Um, what was I going to fucking talk? Someone said something, and I totally. What was it they wanted me to discuss? Walking or hooks? I have to be brutally honest and say I haven't read enormous amounts from either. But from what I have, Hooks seems like a legitimate person, if that makes sense. Whereas Dworkin seems like a fucking dick. Like she just seems like a really hateful bigot who gives feminism a bad name. So Hooks, even though I'm not an expert on any of it. So what? Oh, that was it. Someone asked me to talk about the Laughing Witch Woolly Bumblebee DMCA issue. For those who don't know, Woolly Bumblebee, who's we've had some very very difficult moments in terms of our I was going to say relationship, but that sounds weird. You know what I mean, like friendship or whatever. Yeah, whatever relationship. But we sort of over my flagging, she came out and said, "Don't fucking flag people. That's not cool." And so we sort of metaphorically kissed and made up. And yeah, and so she's been DMCA'd by Laughing Witch. Now, I don't agree with flagging for content in terms of like if someone says nasty shit, I don't give a fuck really. If someone says nasty shit about me, don't flag their videos, right? And I would generally go with that, unless it's like Justin Templar-esque harassment and stalking and stuff. Generally, don't flag people because that's fucked up. You're essentially trying to stop their freedom of speech. Well, not freedom of speech, but the YouTube equivalent of freedom of speech, because freedom of speech exists between you and the government. YouTube doesn't have to give you a fucking platform to say anything. And I know it kind of sells itself as a free speech thing, but it's not actually. Anyway, but that kind of thing aside, generally I don't agree with flagging for content reasons other than like if someone's stabbing kittens to death or strangling their grandmother or some some hideousness. Generally don't fucking flag them, right? That's not cool. with the Woolly Bumblebee Laughing Witch DMCA thing, it's slightly different because DMCA is the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, which is a piece of American legislation that Google judges the copyright infringement stuff on, and doesn't always do a particularly great job in terms of arbitrating that. But in essence, Laughing Witch, I think it was her apology video. I did talk to her briefly about it. She said her apology video was mirrored by Woolly Bumblebee without her permission, in essence. And Woolly Bumblebee says she did have her permission. Now, if Woolly Bumblebee can show me proof that she did have her permission, then I will absolutely come out and say that's fucked up. About Laughing Witch, you shouldn't do that. If you gave her permission to mirror the video, unless you then specifically ask her to take it down, I don't think that's cool, right? And so essentially, at the moment, I'm sort of stuck in a kind of she said situation where Laughing Witch says one thing and the Woolly Bumblebee says the other. Now, if Woolly Bumblebee can provide the actual like, a screenshot of their conversation or whatever, then yeah, I'll absolutely come out and condemn it because that would be fucked up. But as far as I can see right now, you have to go with all I know is that Woolly Bumblebee put that video up. It wasn't her video. It got taken down for copyright. Now, unless, and I don't look, the problem with YouTube, and I've had this before when I've mirrored videos and tried to like monetize them or whatever. And when I mirror stuff, I only monetize it if it's appropriate. Like I mirrored what's his name, Captain Mickle, of course. He was a very impressive young man. You should definitely go subscribe to. If I remember, I'll put a link below to his channel. His video about the Mankind Initiative, the men's male domestic violence victims charity, and they needed funding and all the rest of it. And again, if I remember, I'll put a link to that video below. And I mirrored that video, but I didn't monetize it because, frankly, it's for a charity thing. It didn't feel right. But other than that, so outside of those inappropriate ones, I monetize if I'm given permission. I never ask for permission to monetize, but if I'm given permission by the person to mirroring to monetize them, I'll go ahead and do so. But part of the problem with that is that the YouTube algorithm often picks it up because it's a video that already exists on someone else's channel. It doesn't always pick it up, but sometimes it does. And so if you just show them screenshots of like effectively a verbal, or it's textual agreement from this person to monetize their video and to mirror it and all the rest of it, the YouTube doesn't always accept that as like written permission or whatever, which I suppose is fair enough in the sense that unless like it's a verified account on Twitter or whatever, you can't be sure it's the actual person. It could just be look, there are ways you could manipulate that or whatever. So they don't always accept that. So in the sense of YouTube being within their rights to take that video down, they probably are under the, if they're being fair, which they virtually never are, though. That's sort of the problem. But in terms of the evidence that I would accept, if she can show me actual, like a screenshot of Woolly Bumblebee asks for permission, Laughing Witch gives it, okay, and that's that. Then yeah, then in that instance, the fact that Laughing Witch then DMCA'd Woolly Bumblebee is really fucked up if that's the case. But I genuinely, at the moment, I'm lacking in that evidence. If it can be provided, we'll revisit the topic, so to speak. I don't know what everyone else thinks about all of that. Let's have a look. Oh wow, there's quite a discussion going on. What places have you been in the world? Any adventures you've been on? I've been to a few places. I've been to many places in Europe. I've been to Turkey. So I've been to 3 continents. Although 2. Technically, I was born in one of them. Though. Yeah, I was born in Europe. I've travelled quite extensively in Western Europe. I've been to Spain, France, Portugal, Germany, Italy. mainly as an adult, but we didn't have foreign holidays as a kid. First time I went abroad when I was like 14 or something. Would have been about that. Like, actually, yeah, it was. I'll tell you what year it was. 2002, because remember the 2002 World Cup was on, which was really strange because we were getting up and drinking because the legal drinking age in Spain is 14 apparently, and I was was I 14, 15, something like that. And the for those who don't know, the Soccer World Cup in 2002 was held in Japan and South Korea, which means the time difference was enormous to Britain. But then when we were in Spain, we were an hour further back, so we were getting up at like 6 in the morning, which meant often actually we weren't getting up at all. We were just partying and then drinking, like watching the football, then going to bed at like 10 in the morning or something, which was which is horrible and incredibly dangerous for a 14-year-old to do. But there you go. So I've been there. I've been to North Africa, to Tunisia. Lovely, lovely part of the world. Spent a few days there. That's not where I actually got the present from my brother a couple of years ago. But yeah. So, and like I said, I went to Turkey. Although it was to Istanbul, I went to the Asian bit of Istanbul. So I can say I've been in Asia. I mean, it's not quite like going all the way to Japan or something, but technically it's Asia. So there you go. And I hope to go to America at some point because that would be fucking awesome. And most of my, well, I say most, I think some like 48% or something of my subscribers are American. So it'd be cool to sort of go there and meet a few peeps. But anyway, who's in? Oh, Jenny McDermott, how are you? I knew the Jenny McDermott that killed Thunderfoot's dad. I think that was the thing, wasn't it? I heard it was something like that. He doesn't like to talk about it, though. He doesn't like to play the victim at all. At all. Have any of the people you've made a Descent of Manosphere video on ever been scolded by their parents for their misogyny? Push on. I love you to bits, mate, but how the fuck am I supposed to know? I don't know their parents. I know nothing of their interactions with their parents. I don't know. But I quite like the fact that my Descent of Manosphere videos, there have been, as far as I'm aware, 2 actual responses done. One by Shoe on Head, but firstly, one by Teal Deer. And at least the Shoe on Head one was like funny. That was an actually humorous response. She and the Armored Skeptic did like a breakdown of the video, and that was really quite funny. And it was a shame it got flagged, and then they re-uploaded it with the appropriate changes or whatever. But Teal Deer's one was so butthurt. I actually went into someone, because I do. This is the beautiful thing about doing what I do. I've got so many lovely little feminist spotters out all over the place, and atheist spotters. My little meerkats just always watching stuff, and I get linked to all kinds of stuff as they're happening, and so I get I got a heads up with the Teal Deer thing from about, it must have been like November or December, I think, last year. I think it was like that. Anyway, and I went into the chat as he was talking, and I responded to one of the things, which he was such a straw man he was doing, and he got so butthurt that I pointed this out. He got so angry. It was fucking brilliant. Oh. Does Japan look like an actual anime? Does it? I don't know. What does an actual anime look like? Is an anime a thing? Are there any anime left in the wild? Are they all in captivity in North America? What else we got? Dr. Phil Mason admitted to Dr. Christy Winters that Thunderfoot is a trolling account. Yeah, he did. If you go and watch, not my video, it's a video done. It's on my channel, but it's by Phil Mason. It's called Thunderfoot Unhinged. Episode 5 or something, I can't remember. And it's Twitter Twattery. That's it. Thunderfoot Unhinged, Twitter Twattery. And Dr. Phil Mason, Thunderfoot, thickest neck in the world, takes you through a Twitter exchange he had with Phil Mason, with Christy Winters and Philip Carrier, in which he admits to being a troll. And then points out, I don't know why he would do this, but he points out that loads of other really famous scientists don't do that. And that's possibly the difference between him, the cunt, and other scientists who are actual scientists. Why do you perfectly fits every stereotype of the male feminist: fat, white, and unimaginative cunt. Well, your name is very appropriate, insensitive bastard. Why do I fit all of those stereotypes? I didn't really realise they were stereotypes, but why do I fit them? Because I'm fat, I'm white, and I'm an unimaginative cunt. That's why. That's why I fit those, because I am those. What is your opinion of the BBC's new news arm? Do you think they have a neoliberal bias? Do you think they are impartial? Read the new Labour leadership. The BBC is difficult, right? The BBC is arguably the greatest cultural achievement that Britain has ever, or certainly Britain in modern times has ever produced. You could argue like Shakespeare or Byron or some shit like that. But in modern times, modern times the BBC is a huge achievement of British culture and of British society. But the news arm is troubling. But the thing you've got to remember is they're always trying to bridge an unbridgeable gap. There are loads of people on the right who say they're too left wing. There are loads of people on the left who say they're too right wing. And actually, they're not really either. They essentially go with the flow, and they're sort of almost like. And I'm not even trying to criticise them here. Well, I am and I'm not. Noel Plum, where they hold this kind of impossible middle ground. And it doesn't matter if the two sides of any argument are incredibly crazy and perfectly normal. They always treat them as if they're equally nutty or whatever. And they try and do like it's impartiality to a fault in a lot of cases. And also you've got to bear in mind, like a lot of news stations, they essentially don't want to lose reporting privileges and stuff. So if they go in too hard on the government, they might lose access to certain ministers or whatever. And as fucked up as that is, it works when one party's in power or the other. And it's the same the world over. And I don't know how you could possibly change it without having far too much government regulation and what's the word I'm looking for? Intrusion on the free press. And as bad as the free press can be at times, it's much preferable to an absolutely not free press. So apparently Noel Plum is a cunt, according to Gabiska response. Well, thank you. Thunder Fart's degree in chemistry makes him an expert in every possible way. That is true. That is true. If you listen to him, because he's a scientist, everything he says is true. He will tell you that he knows everything about everything. So that's the beauty of having a degree in chemistry. It gives you knowledge in everything. Gabchika is apparently how it's pronounced. No, I'm going to go with Gabiska because I'm British, therefore it's perfectly fine to me to be slightly racist to foreigners. That's just the way it goes. If you didn't like it, you shouldn't have been foreign in the first place. That's how it goes. That's a joke, by the way. Because it doesn't matter, does it? That can still be taken out of context. So I might as well not have said it. Laszlo is a Hungarian and he knows too. So there are two Hungarians in the room. How did you get past immigration? I did. My borders are too porous. That's the problem. Anyway, right. Have you ever taken the MBTI personality test? And if so, what was your type? I haven't, and so I can't really give you an answer. Dominique Vasquez. Oh, the cat. Cat's up. Oh. Come here. Come on, say hello to the internet, Ricketts. Oh, the Ricketts! He's trying to bite me. You Ricketts. Say hello to the internet. Say hello. Hello. He's gone. He's the star of the show, really, isn't he? He's the brains of the operation as well. My mum married illegally. See, that's the thing. Dipping in and out is quite dangerous at times. He is the cutest cat ever. That is true. Yes, Grey Knight. The cat is trying to bite me in order to escape. He doesn't mind being picked up, but I think he wants to go for a shit. So Stop exploiting that pussy. Oh God. Grey Knight, why are you here? Haven't you got trollery to be done? Or am I your troll victim for the day? Is that what's happening here? I don't know. What else was I going to do? I've totally forgot. I had like a long list of shit I was going to talk about, and I've totally forgotten what it was going to be. Oh, Milo Yiannopoulos, yeah. He's an arsehole, isn't he? That guy. Yeah, I mean, I've sort of said everything I want to say about him. He protects paedophiles and all sorts. He's fucking awful. Brexit, in or out, and why? Thank you, Gabiska. Or Gabchika, or whatever. Hang on, the cat wants fucking out. The cat wants out of the room. Go on, you rat. And now I've closed the door, he will definitely want to get back in at some point. He doesn't like closed doors. And this one's one of the ones that actually, what's it, not the lock, like the handle thing actually clicks into the door. So I have to open it for him. Oh, yeah, Brexit in or out. Right. Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Brexit, right, which is, for those who don't know, is a portmanteau of British exit, which is the concept of Britain leaving the European Union, which is definitely going to be I think the Prime Minister wants it sooner rather than later. Like, he wanted it as soon as fucking June or July, but it might happen this year or possibly next year. Where yeah, the referendum will be held as to whether Britain stays or indeed leaves the European Union. And you've got this really absurd situation of David Cameron trying to negotiate with the European leaders about really petty shit that won't actually make much difference at all. But you know what's going to happen. Like he said, if I don't get a good deal, I'll leave it. No, you won't. Of course you fucking won't. Because that would be defeat for you. Because his whole plan all along is to get the deal and then campaign to stay in Europe. And so he's not going to go to the British people and say, no, I didn't get the fucking deal, therefore I'm a loser. Because that means he's definitely going to get ousted as Prime Minister. So he's going to come back with a half-baked deal and try and sell it to the British public. And I'm personally in favour of staying in the European Union, as much as I despise its anti-democratic bent in terms of not even just like, you know, the fact that European nations get together and make decisions. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. But it's the way in which France and Germany, mostly Germany, but France and Germany have foisted austerity on governments in Portugal and Italy and Spain and Greece being the most obvious one, who have voted not for those, voted against those things. They voted in democratically elected governments who then have to go cap in hand to Angela Merkel, who no Greek has ever been given a vote on. That's not democracy. You've got fucking pricks like Jean-Claude Juncker sitting at the UN representing the European Union. I've never voted for this cunt. Oh, well, that's not the point. I've never had the opportunity to vote for or against him, or for or against anyone else for that position. So why the fuck does he presume to speak on my behalf as the representative of the European Union? I think he's the head of the European Council or whatever the fuck his official position is. So I hate that. I hate the huge amounts of corruption. The money that gets pissed out from the sides of the European Union are disgusting. Are absolutely fucking disgusting. But even for all of those things, I think the European Union, A, is financially beneficial to Britain, and B, if for no other reason than not expending the blood of another generation on Flanders Fields, I think it's worth staying in. So that's my incredibly long-winded and not very eloquent way of saying, vote to stay in, people. Yeah. Yes, fuck austerity measures, quite so. There's no way I'm pronouncing Zidane Kuja. I think I've got the Zidane bit. I presume that's after the footballer. Actually, he's football manager now, isn't it? There is a democratic deficit in the EU, Yeah, the corruption plus the small matter of it being a capitalist club. Yeah, but I mean, you're never going to get a non-capitalist club, really, are you? That's or not. You could get like a slightly more democratic capitalist club, but it's always going to be a capitalist club, really, isn't it? And for some reason, have I frozen? My screen seems to have frozen. I'm not sure why that is. Is anyone else having that problem? I'm all right on my actual Hangout screen, as it were. I'm still moving, and that's fine. I've got 27 viewers. That's amazing. That's for the size of channel this is. That's fucking amazing. But yeah, but for some reason on the actual, I'll refresh that page and see if that works. But yeah, on the actual Q&A page, the YouTube page that you're all watching this on, it froze for some reason. So I'm just going to refresh that and see if that's anything. I don't know. This is not entertaining for anyone, surely. Yeah, there we go. It's moving again. Yeah, but at least, I mean, if for no other reason, I'm talking more than Dick Coughlin does during his. So, although I'm not offending as many people, and I haven't had a racist kangaroo come in and try and fuck me up yet and fail miserably. Did you see that? That was genius. Come on, people. Questions. There's 27 of you in the fucking room. Ask me a question. Anyone watch the GOP debate last night or the night before? I watched it with the Majority Report commenting. Oh right, okay, yes, okay, I'm with you. Yeah, I watched a bit of it, and I watched a bit of the Trump event that he did. Which, by the way, apparently the money doesn't actually go to the veterans; it goes straight to the Donald Trump Foundation. So we'll wait and see as to all that. But yeah, it's so worrying. I made a comment on Twitter about it. I'd never thought I'd see the day where I was reminiscing about, by relative standards, the loquacious charm and ethical fucking standards of Mitt Romney. But by the standards of the current GOP clown car, Mitt Romney was a fucking demigod. Where the fuck did I just drop that pen? I've dropped a pen and it's disappeared. Oh, there it is. Look. I don't really need it, but I just didn't want to lose it. Views on Marxism. I'm not a Marxist because, at least in part, it doesn't quite work, if that makes sense. I think he got a lot right, considering he was writing about a society that didn't yet quite exist. Like the time he was writing, a lot of people worked in very small sort of workshops and stuff, and so he was writing about an industrial society that was just beginning to grow. And so essentially, he was quite a futuristic writer, and he got a lot right. But you can't say that the societies that grew up, at least in part around his ideas, worked. They didn't. And okay, you can say they were never truly Marxist, of course, but that's sort of a no true Scotsman in the sense that a lot of Christians say about murdering Christians. Oh, they're not real Christians, or whatever. If that's the kind of thing. If that's the kind of standard you want to go by, fine. But I don't think if Marxism leads to those kind of societies, irrelevant of whether they're actually truly Marxist, if that's what Marxism leads to that kind of level of corruption and murder, then I think we need to find a better way, basically. So I'm just checking. I've got like Facebook and Twitter and all that shit. What did we do before Facebook and Twitter? Before that was a thing, what happened there? I can't remember. Oh, Sea Beach is in the room. Chocolate Thunder, how are you, my man? I'm not a Marxist, just what Kami would say. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. What do you think about David Cameron putting his cock in the mouth of a dead pig? Would you like him to try to sue Ashcroft? What do I think of David Cameron putting his dick into the mouth of a pig? It's obviously quite humorous in a way, because it's a dead pig. The pig's dead, whatever. But the thing is, as much as it's funny to think about, we don't actually know that it's really true, that that's what really actually happened. It's from a story by Ashcroft of essentially a kind of quite a butthurt former friend telling a silly story, which we have no real corroboration for. But it's the kind of thing that posh twats do, isn't it? Like, who the fuck, when they were at uni, joined a fucking dining club? I was too busy getting fucking drunk and having horrific sex and stuff. Who the fuck joins a dining club? The only thing I was dining on was, anyway. We'll leave that there. Kevin, have you ever seen Flatmates? It's a great little YouTube show. I haven't, but if you send me a link, I will put it in the ever bulging watch later bit. Isn't it kind of the story that Milo would come up with? It is, yeah. That's exactly the sort of shit. Define horrific sex, please, Kev. Just not very good sex, basically. but on lots of it, and you know. If your point was, Brian, did I rape anyone? No, I didn't. I think he wants to fuck your voice, Beach. Is voice a slang term for anus in America? Hence the Westminster pedo ring. Yeah, this is the thing. Actually, I brought up briefly in my video yesterday about Margaret Thatcher knowing about the paedophile ring which existed among her cabinet and confidants and her ministers and stuff. And people that seem to totally neglect that in all of the paedophilia hysteria here in Britain. People seem to forget that Margaret Thatcher was, her government was at the heart of a really, really fucking loathsome and detestable child rape ring. And it wasn't just the Tories, of course, it was the Labour chap who was outed recently. So clearly it was a culture across Westminster, which was fostered and protected. Well, not fostered. I'm not saying she went out of her way to try and encourage paedophiles, but essentially she gave tacit approval to child rapists. And yet we spent a fucking £1 million giving her a state funeral. It's despicable. It's fucking despicable. Have you ever partook in group sex, Kev? No, I've never partaken in group sex. I don't really agree with it, if that makes sense. As boring and not necessarily prudish, I suppose. What I don't, yeah, like one-on-one sex works far better. Like I think it's slightly distasteful in a way, slightly disrespectful to the one person you should be fucking, that you're fucking 2 or 3 or 4 people. But look, if people want to do that and they don't feel the same way, fine, go for it. I couldn't go for. Yeah, SJW101, the political gamer. Again, if I remember, I'll put a link to his channel. Go and subscribe. He's fucking awesome. He says Thatcher was quite friendly with Jimmy Savile too. That is true, but I don't want to have to defend Margaret Thatcher at all. But to be fair, I can't say for sure that she would have known that he was a paedophile. The point I was making about her cabinet minister stuff, she definitely would have known those sorts of things. There's no way she couldn't have known any of that was taking place. Whereas with Jimmy Savile, I kind of have to give her a pass on that because she didn't work for the BBC or at the BBC. So there's no way of knowing that she knew that. She might have done, but I can't say that with honesty because I don't know. And I suppose we'll probably never know unless there are secret documents that no one's released yet. But I doubt they'll ever come to light, and if they do exist, which I doubt it do. What else? Come on, people, talk to me. Don't just talk to yourselves. Talk to me. This is the whole point. I put it out there. I wanted to interact with people, and you're going on about fucking. It's Bewildered Ape and his fucking jacket potatoes. The fuck. What did you think of the Thatcher biopic? I haven't seen it. I don't particularly want to. Apparently, it's quite good, but it's just I'm not interested. Basically, like I'm interested in the actual history. I'm interested in someone's bullshit retelling of history. So yeah, and for some reason my security thing has gone over. There we go. The little thing popped up above the fucking thing. It's a serious question, okay, on the jacket potato. You have three ingredients: cheddar cheese, beans, and butter. I used to have that combination of things, but I don't have the beans anymore. If I do have a jacket potato, as I occasionally will, it's just cheese and butter now. What do you think? What do you think Northern European politics? Julia Renee, Julie Irene, Irene, Julie Irene. There we go. What do you think of Northern European politics? You're going to have to define that more narrowly because that's quite broad. How will the English react when Trump wins? He won't win. But if he did, I think we're going to build a lot more nuclear shelters. I think would probably be the best reaction, wouldn't it? If the US votes for Trump, will you start a petition that requires the UK to take the country back over again because we cannot be trusted not to vote for hateful extremists? I don't think it necessarily will take Trump doing that. I think we're just going to come back and take it. We've allowed you to have this independence nonsense for too long. Have you seen the newest video by H Bomber Guy? I haven't, but I will shortly. He's very good. I've seen his previous stuff, and they are excellent. His takedowns of the Sarkeesian effect are very, very good. He is still evading the question. What question am I evading? What question am I evading, people? Apparently, I missed a Grey Knight question or something. What is that? I'm going back now because I'm not being accused of dodging fucking Grey Knight's questions. Are you a supporter of the new line of Mattel Barbie dolls, and if so, which ones will you purchase? That's two questions, motherfucker. I generally am. Yeah, I've got no problem with people. Like, for those who don't know, Mattel, the owners and producers of Barbie, produced like as it four, I think, new styles of Barbie in different size. Like there's a rounded figured Barbie, a tall Barbie, a black Barbie, you know, a number of different things. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I personally won't be purchasing any of them. Honest, to add to my huge collection that definitely doesn't exist. No, I won't be purchasing any, but yeah, I think that's probably a good thing in general. There you go. I won't go on first on Jacob. So the butter goes on first, and then the cheese. I don't have beans anymore because I'm not a child. Who all the day trying to be a knob. Bless him. I think a non-Trump right winger gonna win. You think the Republicans have a chance of winning? Have seen how extreme they're having to be to get through the the caucuses. What the fuck is it called? The nomination race. Anyway, there's no way they're going to be able to row back to the middle ground. And so either Hillary basically, I think, will take it. But who knows? Who knows? It could be. We could have a. I mean, he's not really socialist in any real sense, but Bernie Sanders, a man who calls himself or has called himself a socialist, could be president. That's genuinely not possible. Fuck, marry, kill. Jamie Redknapp, Jamie Carragher, Gary Neville. Now we're talking. For those who don't know, those are three ex-England soccer players. Oh, I don't know. Kill Jamie Redknapp just because of the cockneyness. Fuck him. I think I'll probably marry Jamie Carragher because he's ugly enough where you think to yourself he's probably not going to cheat, and probably end up fucking Gary Neville, which is weird. But he's a trade unionist, so we've got something in common, and we're both paracons, I suppose. What's wrong with beans? They're a musical fruit. It's disgusting. So it's in the Bible, people. Okay. Bernie is not going to win the nomination. No, I don't think he is, but it wouldn't take like with the Hillary emails thing. If that blows up and that sinks her ship, there's no one to stop him. Basically, I know there's the other chap from is it Iowa or somewhere. Not Iowa, Ohio. But he's nowhere. Yeah, I don't even know what they had him at that one fucking debate. Anyway, how come you haven't got the beers in this evening? It's a bit later, so basically, previously I was drinking to save money because I was going out afterward to like, and that was really weird because my voice was fucked afterwards, and so I was smoking as well. But by the end of it, it felt and sounded like I fucking cheese grated my throat at the end of that night. But basically, I was drinking to save money going out later. Whereas today, I'm not going anywhere because it's Friday night and I'm a sad prick, so I'm not going anywhere. Does Brian have Asperger's? Is that an actual thing? If not, let's knock that shit on the head. The whole, oh, you've got autism, you've got Asperger's, you've got, oh, fuck off. Have you travelled outside the UK? If so, where? I have, and I'd explained this earlier. I've been to Europe, North Africa, Asia. Yeah, those are the places I've been. Although not very far into Asia. It's basically the Asian side of the Bosphorus. Is it Bosphorus? Yeah, the Bosphorus. Yeah. Who wins in an Australian fight, Master or Blaster? That's, I don't know what the fuck that means. I don't know what you mean. Do you remember Gillian McKeith? Opinions? Oh God, yeah, I remember her. She's the woo-woo pretend dietitian person who most famously went around digging through people's shit. That is literal, by the way. That's not like when you say, "Oh, don't get up in my shit." Like she mean literally, she would have people give her samples of fecal matter, even though there's no fucking medical reason to do so. Yeah, she's woo woo prick. I remember, oh God, I remember watching one of her shows once. And this was when back when I was a lad, when I was a kid. I watched one of her shows, and it's like the and part of it was like the top 10 worst things for your health. And she had white bread as more dangerous than smoking. I think that tells you all you need to know about her. There's a bit of salt in white bread, not quite as bad as cancer sticks. Anyway, right. Questions from the Q&A bit. Right, where are we? I think I'm basically out here, aren't I? Am I? I don't know. We want more Sargon Pwned. That's your and most solid content. Apparently. Address the doppelganger situation with you and Paul Ziegler. Apparently, I look like Paul Ziegler. Fuck you. Fuck you, critical cat. You ever seen me and Paul Ziegler in the same room? I haven't. Do people here still seriously believe Thunderfoot is a Holocaust denier? I don't. Did anyone ever really say he was a Holocaust denier? I think a Holocaust apologist. I think he's a bit of a stretch, but it's still possible because he did say he was going down the line of like, oh well, medical advances were made, so I can't say that the Holocaust was entirely bad. Oh fuck you! Like just say it's bad. You know it's bad. Don't be a cunt. Do you support using DMCA to silence the channel? No, I don't. I did it. I knew the cat would be back. I did this earlier actually about the woolly bumblebee thing. Get in. Get the fuck in. Get in. I'm not. Dickhead. Shut up. He's back. He's biting me. Bless him. Anyway, yeah, I did address the. Yeah, I did address the MCA thing, and yeah, I don't support him. I don't think he's a Holocaust denier. No, he's an idiot for talking to Ray Comfort and letting him play word games. This is the point, actually. The wider point about the Thunderfoot Ray Comfort discussions. Ray Comfort made him look a bit of a twat, even though we know, and I'm ignoring the fact that I take the piss out of him for it. He is a scientist, and so therefore he does have the scientific knowledge on his side on a number of issues. And Ray Comfort's like a god-bothering shyster. But Ray Comfort still made him look a cunt because Thunderfoot's not the best communicator in the world, even though he has a very big channel and all the rest of it. He's he was shown to be a fool when it comes to debate and stuff. So why he went back for seconds as well, because they did two quite long ones, didn't they? The second one being outside. Will you shut up, Rory Katz? Shut up. Fucking squeaking at me, like. What? What? You know. Anyway, yeah, Ray Comfort. Yeah, Ray Comfort made him look silly because Ray Comfort's whole shtick is to play silly word games with people, and Thunderfoot fucking knew that full well because he'd addressed his stuff in the past and why do people laugh at creationists series, and he made himself look a twat twice. So fuck him. Why do you like cats and not the far superior animal than dog? I do like dogs. I love dogs, but it's just the cats are far more independent, and my lifestyle I'd love to have a dog, but it'd be far too much work for me to put in. Like I work 12-hour shifts and stuff, and I don't want to leave like a dog alone for that long. Ideally, whereas a cat, you can come and go. Like I do, I've got a cat flat which when I'm in, I try and keep it shut because this ridiculously useless fucking cat is horrifically uh, territorial in a number of ways and lets other cats in, and the other cats piss everywhere to mark territory. And I come home and my whole house smells of cat piss. So I have to keep it closed when I can. But by and large, he's got. But when it is closed, by the way, for the animal people, what the fuck? Did that get caught on camera? Jumping up and attacking my arm? What? What was I going to say? You've distracted me, Rory Katz, with your annoying cuteness. I've totally lost my train of thought. Kevin shouted at a pussy, Lagasp, makes me shocked. Shut up, Brian, you silly knob. Although that's another person with a great voice, by the way. What do you think of anarchism? I don't really agree with anarchism by and large. I can't say that I'm an expert, but I've yet to meet an anarchist who isn't in some way sort of full of shit in a way. But there you go. But I don't hate anarchists by and large. They're good people. I just disagree with them on a number of things. Why is your favourite breed of dog, and why is it the husky? It isn't the husky. I prefer kind of Labradors. Labradors are nice. Put Rory Cat on your shoulder. Fucking bite it, mate. He didn't want to go on the shoulder. Bums with nipples. What? What did I miss in the conversation that led to BA saying bums with nipples? That's mental. There are raccoons in Germany. What is wrong with you people? Fucking raccoons and jacket potatoes. Is this what this has come to? Tits, bum or tits? Oh, okay. Tits, I suppose. I don't know. Tits with anus. Oh, what an image push on. Anyway, there were other questions. I missed out questions, didn't I? So, where are we? Better 31 viewers. That is mental. Why is it? It's Friday, people. Go out and do something good. Why are you watching this shite? Are there raccoons in Britain? No, there are not. As far as I'm aware, they're in zoos. They probably are, but I don't think they're wild. Baby metal? What? Stop abusing Rory Cat. I'm not abusing Rory Cats. That's outrageous claim. Yes, Rory Cats did get chicken. He always gets fucking chicken. American raccoons are racist. What? Those raccoons were introduced by the Nazis. What? What? I don't. It's Saturday morning. In Australia, I presume it probably is. But if you went to like a proper, like a Northern Hemisphere, European, Western nation like Britain, you'd be in the correct time zone. That's all I'm saying. Um, it's Saturday now in Hungary. Oh, so you're actually in Hungary. You're not just a Hungarian in like Britain or America or something. I didn't realise I had people in Hungary. Hello, hello, Hungary, and in Poland. Oh, so you're also Gabiska. You're a Hungarian in Poland, I presume then. Small dogs or big dogs? Medium-sized dogs. Why do the Sargon bots call you potato? Because Sargon did once, and this is the thing that the Thunder Christs and the Sargonauts and all of those people do. Whenever there's like a new thing they come up with, like hello Finland. Whenever the Sargon called me a potato head once, and so all his followers did the same. They started using the word cuck, and so they all did. Regressive is his new one, and now they all call you regressive. Hello, Quebec. Am I just doing shout outs to foreigners now? Hello, Canada land. I visited Poland last year. Oh, that's not. What? Don't fuck with the might of the Eastern Bloc. Okay. I wasn't planning on it, to be honest. No, I'm British. Born in England to a Hungarian mum, now living in Poland. It's complex in it. That is complex, yeah. Why don't people train their tiny dogs? They become noisy cats that have no independence and don't listen. Wales? Wales isn't really foreign. In fact, I'm in Birmingham, so it's like an hour down the road. Hello, Chris Wilkins in Birmingham. Hello, Birmingham. I'm saying hello to myself. Do you think we should just ironically accept the term regressive leftist? No, because it's bullshit, isn't it? Really. I mean, I got like ironically taking on SJW or whatever, but I think regressive left is a point where we make a stand because that's just that it's so stupid because it's just repackaging progressive, isn't it? And that's all they're doing there. They don't. There's no element of anything worthwhile in what they're doing there. It's so obvious, well poisony fucking bullshit, you know. Birmingham, the no-go zone. Yeah, it's 100% Muslim. White people just don't go there apparently, which is interesting for me to find out on Fox News because I didn't realise I'd been a Muslim all this while. A terrible Muslim, a bacon-eating, beer-swilling, awful Muslim. But there you go. What is your favourite conspiracy theory and why? It's got to be. It's a specific brand of the 9/11 truthers who are mental cases. I mean, look, the quote unquote mainstream 9/11 conspiracy theorists who believe that X did it instead of an actual story. The no planers are my particular favourite brand of conspiracy theorists. Now these are people who believe not only that the government did it or whatever, but that it wasn't actually planes that went into the buildings. They were holograms of planes that went into the buildings, and that the buildings were actually destroyed by some sort of death beam from space. As crazy as that sounds, that's an actual thing that some people do genuinely believe, and I don't even know where to begin with how crazy an idea that is. It's amazing, isn't it? The human mind, the shit it comes up with is just it's mind blowing. It's fucking mind blowing. I don't how I don't know. I don't know how to describe it really. It's fucking crazy. Who would win in a fight? Thunderfoot's neck or Sargon's never used indoor bicycle set? Neck. Every time the neck. The neck will beat all. The neck could get any piece in chess in checkmate instantly. That's how good the neck is. That's how massive the neck is anyway. Hi, just A narco blonde. That's a cool name. Hi, just dropping by. What ideology do you identify with? Feminist socialness. Feminist socialism, I suppose. I don't. Yeah. What about the reptilians? The reptilians are another great conspiracy theory. You know that they're all, these people are all shapeshifters, and you should watch the videos of see Michelle Obama's real form, and you see her face. Look, there's just a slight glitch on the screen, and they say, "Oh, look, she turned into a lizard." No, she didn't. Anyway, why do you think people turn to conspiracy theories? Is it some sort of psychology or just plain stupidity? No, I don't think it's stupidity. Some of these people are incredibly intelligent and inventive in terms of their imagination and stuff. It's essentially it's quite scary to think that the world is made up of random events, or the like. For instance, we're all conspiracy theorists in the sense that we all, normal people believe that there was a conspiracy of Islamic extremists who fly planes into buildings. That's a big enough conspiracy in itself. But that doesn't. That means that you can't control anything because it's just seemingly ordinary people doing these things, and you can get caught by it. Whereas it's much easier to think of this overarching, Illuminati NWO thing controlling everything, and that's essentially where this comes from. That they want to believe in that other thing, um, and so they go with that, and it's a shame to see because there are some very very interesting and intelligent people. Charlie, is it Charlie Batch? I can't remember his name. Charlie Beach, something like that. Who was a 9/11 conspiracy theorist whose mind was changed completely on the topic, and he's a fantastically intelligent and thoughtful guy who hasn't totally gotten completely out of like the um, power structure conspiracy thing, but is the cat wants out again. Right, come on. Yeah. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, Charlie Beach, that's the man. Um, yeah, he's a very intelligent young man. I would say young man, he's probably older than me, I think. But yeah, and he was a conspiracy theorist, 9/11 person. But eventually they did turn him around. But unfortunately, I think a lot of people don't, So there you go. Look at Sargon's claims about sociologists banding together. Yeah, a lot of these social science deniers, and by the way, you should check out Christy Winter's stuff about this. She's brilliant on this sort of stuff. Um, uh, you have um, what's the the social science deniers in the anti-feminist movement. They'll say like, oh well, that's all. Like you can show them a study and they'll say, oh well, that doesn't matter because that's from a feminist perspective or whatever. And so they'll have like they start to sound a lot like fundamentalist Christians when you say like, oh the rocks are so many billions of years old, whatever, and they'll say no, because those you can't trust that bit of science, and it becomes essentially the same sort of thing, and they start to sound very much like a religious um, thing. But anyway, how do you start learning about social science? Are there beginners books or something? Yeah, you can put there's loads of just get like I mean I've still got my A level sociology stuff. If you go and get that sort of level of stuff, that'll give you a decent in to how sociology works and stuff. Is fundamentalist Christianity a conspiracy theory? Uh, I don't think it inherently is a conspiracy theory, but it almost always involves conspiracy theorists because you have to think of science, basically all of science, modern science anyway, as a conspiracy against you, and you have to think like Darwin was Darwin did what he did because he hated God rather than he was looking for the truth or whatever. I'm going to wrap it up soon because my voice is starting to get a bit croaky, and I don't want to sit here going because that's that's a new series that I could do. Logan making weird noises. That'd be awesome. The truth. What? Why is Mindforge Manacle started screaming? What's happening there? Worst date. The 21st of October 1841. Terrible date. I presume you mean what's the worst date I've ever been on? I haven't had too many terrible ones, to be honest. I've had a few embarrassing ones where you just talk utter shit and start making a prick of yourself. But I actually haven't had like any appalling stuff where like I take I shit myself in the middle of the restaurant or something. I've never had one of them. How did you get into feminism? I got into feminism in a sort of roundabout way. I'd always been sort of aware of it and considered myself sort of a feminist. In sort of in a way, I think that say Richard Dawkins thinks he is, in as much as it sounds vaguely like the sort of nice, fluffy, progressive, liberal thing to be, or whatever, rather than really understanding what it was or what it entailed and all of that. And so but I then sort of went into this phase of, and I've talked about this before, where I could have gone down the wrong path of becoming, one of these MRA dickheads. But thankfully, I just sort of grew up, and as a process of that, I discovered and started reading literature on these different topics, and it sort of made sense to me. And so essentially, I sort of drifted into it. Is the main word being it. Best food. Oh. It's not chicken, Rodica. Shut up. Um, I don't know. Pizza. I think it's like meat feast pizza. Yeah, that's tasty shit. I'll be honest, Kevin. You weren't getting laid as a man, so you started being a feminist. See, that's from a guy called Unauthorized Expression, who's a bit of a prick who trolls me on videos, and he's got this idea of the white knight. Trust me, I was probably getting laid more before I was really a feminist, to be honest, just because I didn't really care about women, and so I was almost down the line of like the not quite a pickup artist, but essentially just having casual sex for just because. Yeah, to quote Jarvis Cocker, you dance and drink and screw because there's nothing else to do. Um, you should make a comedic video in which you mimic Dawkins' accent like you do with Thunderfuck. He doesn't have like that definable an accent, and I'm not a very good mimic. Like my Thunderfoot isn't that good, but you get that it's him because of the kind of slight lisp in his voice, like that. And I don't know that and a Dawkins accent would really work. Like he doesn't have like a particularly distinct voice or speaking style. So I don't know if it's. Yeah. I don't hate you. Okay, fine. You're still douchey to me though, but whatever. I mean, you're not the worst by a million miles. I mean, if you were, I'd have blocked you by now. You're just a trolly twat. Do feminists really believe that men become feminists so that they can get laid? I think a lot of them do. Do anti-feminists believe that? Yeah, I think a lot of them do actually, which is rather sad in a way. But there you go. It's really fascinating to me to see the mental loops they'll go through. Like, no, I won't tell the story. It was a private conversation. I won't go there. But yeah, it's. Oh, I don't know if I should tell. No, it was a private. I can't. It was a private conversation. I won't reveal the details. But there was a fascinating example of what I was about to describe. But I won't even reveal the person because it was a private conversation. So we'll leave it there. But basically, it was an anti-feminist who genuinely did believe that was the case. Anyway, basically, I think I've done like nearly an hour and a half now. My voice is starting to go, and I'm starting to run out of steam. So I think we'll probably leave it there. But what I will do is I'll try and remember if can the people who I said I would put a link to or someone in general, if you can like tweet me the people I said I was going to put a link to their stuff below because I've totally forgotten. That would be cool. And genuinely thank you to everyone for getting me to 2,000. And here's to pushing on and growing and entertaining you and you entertaining me in return, going forward. Thank you enormously. Pip pip.